This is Michael Popok, and I'm here for the new Legal AF YouTube channel. Take a moment, go out and free subscribe. Help us build this pro-democracy channel in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network to 200,000 subscribers before Halloween in our first month. Only you can help us do that. Now let's get to the issue at hand. Donald Trump now using a disgusting rhetoric that not only does a few things at the same time, but also, of course, lowers his chances in the polls. He called Kamala Harris at a recent campaign stop mentally disabled, mentally impaired. You heard her. Let's break all that down for a minute.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. She was born that way. And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know this.
First of all, Donald Trump's campaign is obviously struggling, and its campaign directors or campaign spokespeople or chairpeople, whoever they are. I mean, Donald Trump is effectively his own campaign manager. And getting this candidate to be disciplined, to talk about the issues and stop going after Kamala Harris because of her racial identity, because of her gender identity, because of her having children or having stepchildren, or now calling her not only stupid and very dumb person, but now moving into attacking her, and also by extension showing that he has disdain for Americans and others with disabilities. That's always been obvious. Just a side note, it is well received and well accepted. It's now received wisdom that Donald Trump lost the debate against Kamala Harris. Lost the debate, not by a little, but by a lot. Over 71% of the people polled believe, and that includes a lot of MAGA, believe that there is no doubt that Kamala Harris won that debate. So what is he saying now? Is he saying that a mentally disabled and mentally impaired, really dumb person was able to beat him in a debate? And if that's the case, what does that say about him? Let's leave that alone for a moment. Okay, let's move on to the issues at hand. This is not the first time. I've been tracking Donald Trump and his disgusting bias, which seems to be baked into his DNA against anybody with a disability, anybody who's not who has a handicap, who is on the spectrum or other issues from the very, very beginning, even before 2024, well into 2016. One of them was personal in nature to me, which I'm going to explain on this particular hot take. Let's talk about it. Let's first, you've seen the clip of him just recently attacking Kamala Harris, but let me remind you that this goes all the way back. First, let's run a clip of Donald Trump attacking John McCain, who is a hero, a national hero, the late John McCain, senator from Arizona, who spent 5 years in a Vietnam prison camp. They called it the Hanoi Hilton, where for most of it, he had his arms tied behind his back and left to bake in the sun without any water. That left him with major physical injuries for the rest of his life, including his inability to raise one of his arms. But to Donald Trump, his inability to raise one of his arms is not a badge of honor. It is a disability and a weakness that he wants to exploit. Let's run the clip.
He vowed to find an alternative to Obamacare if elected in 2024. And as part of those remarks, he criticized the late Senator John McCain and blamed him for Republicans' failure to repeal and replace the law in 2017. And part of that delivery, Trump mocked McCain's injuries. Take a listen to what he said.
We're going to fight for much better health care than Obamacare. Obamacare is a catastrophe. Nobody talks about it. You know, without John McCain, we would have had it done. But John McCain, for some reason, couldn't get his arm up that day. Remember? He goes that like that. That was the end of that.
All right, check the box on John McCain, but we're not done. It is well known that the President of the United States, Joe Biden, since childhood, has had a lifelong stutter and speech impediment. He's been able, through working on it and speech therapy and discipline, to overcome it. But as he's gotten older and more tired, there are times, of course, when his stutter is not controlled. This is the first personal point that I want to bring up here. My mother is very, very similar to Joe Biden, lifelong stutterer. And as I've watched her age into her late 80s and begin dementia, the frontal lobe dementia, her stutter is much worse. Doesn't mean that her brain isn't sharp. It doesn't mean that she's less of a human being. Let's run the clip of Donald Trump going after, in the past, Joe Biden and his stutter.
2 nights ago, we all heard Crooked Joe's angry, dark, hate-filled rant of a State of the Union address. Didn't it bring us together? Remember, he said, I'm going to bring the country together. I'm going to bring it together.
All right, but that's not all, folks. We've done McCain. We've done Joe Biden. Now let's talk about a reporter for the New York Times many years ago, one that I had the pleasure of meeting, of all things, on a vacation in the Caribbean a number of years ago, Serge Kovalevsky, a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter who also was born with a defect related to his hand. It didn't form properly from birth. Otherwise, completely normal, completely healthy, but he does have a problem with one of his hands. Spent some time throwing a Frisbee with him on the beach a few years ago during a vacation. So I was shocked and mortified and saddened when I saw Donald Trump, referring to Serge Kovalevsky, make the following comments and imitate him and mock him in person in a rally. Let's play that.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
All right. So somebody that has a hand issue, somebody that has a stutter, somebody that has an arm issue from serving our country, these are all lesser for Donald Trump. I mean, why can't he make his point, whatever it is, about the economy, about the border, or about foreign policy and wars, about prices and gas prices, and Social Security and the social safety net? Why can't he do that without reducing himself to the lowest common denominator, without sinking so low, without shrinking before our very eyes? The presidency is supposed to be a place where the person elected rises to the occasion, right? This is the incredible shrinking candidate. He's about 1 foot tall at this level. Why can't he rise above it and just debate on the policies and the issues and let the chips fall where they may? Why does he have to sucker punch and hit below the belt and just show where his lack of values, where his lack of a moral compass really lie? I've been following this for a long time. The attacks on reporters, the attacks on people with speech impediments, the attack on people who served our country but were injured. We know the reporting from his former chief of staff, who used to be in the military, who said that after he introduced Donald Trump at Walter Reed Hospital, where veterans come back who are injured, and he hugged a veteran who was injured, he then pulled the chief of staff aside, his own chief of staff in the Army, and said, don't ever do that again. I don't ever want to be seen with those kind of people, those injured people. So that's what Donald Trump doesn't want to be around. And now we've got organizations that have come out, like disability advocates, who are rebuking Donald Trump, of course. It's even, we just had a recent quote from Maria Town, who's the CEO of the American Association of People with Disabilities, who said this hateful bias against people with disabilities shines through once again for Donald Trump. He has a dark heart, if he has a heart at all. And that's not somebody I don't think you want to elect into the presidency. He thinks these vulgar comments about Kamala Harris, his opponent, the recycling of vulgar jokes suggesting that she got to the top of the pinnacle of being the Democratic candidate for the office, being a senator, being a vice president of the United States. She got that way because she slept with certain men in power. He said it. He has said that. He has said that she has, and I'm not going to repeat the joke, but that she has, it's not a joke, that she has provided sexual favors in order to get ahead. What has she done that was any different in terms of having mentors, some of which she may have had a relationship with, that introduced her to certain opportunities? Men do it all the time in the golf courses of America, in the bathrooms of America, in other places in America and outside of America. How many deals have been cut at bachelor parties that women aren't even allowed to attend? And so to hear Donald Trump say, oh, she had a close relationship with Willie Brown, the former Speaker of the California House, who cares? Did you see the job she got because she knew Willie Brown when she was in her 30s? I don't know, some mental health board in California. I defy you to name one presidential candidate on the precipice of becoming the president of the United States whose launch pad was the mental health board in California. That's not how she got ahead. She got ahead because she's a brilliant leader who has exercised tremendous executive function and has achieved at every stop and interval in her career. She's created her own launching pads, her own stepstones to the next position. That's because she's really bright. But to Donald Trump, who's already laying the groundwork, that she's the other, that she's black or Indian or both, that she is foreign, that she is not of his intellectual equal. Really? Have we seen the clip? I'm going to play it next, of Donald Trump talking at a rally about his hypothetical that he posed to the maker of an electric boat, in which he said, and I'll paraphrase and turn you over to the clip, in which he said to the guy, hey, I got to ask you something. If this boat sank, what should I do? Should I stay on the boat and risk electrocution from the electric boat? And if there's a shark in the water, risk being eaten by the shark? Which one? Okay. All right. I'm going to play the clip, and then I'm going to refer to the late, great George Carlin in a minute. All right. Let's play the clip.
I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there? By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards. Or here, do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark. So we're going to end that. We're going to end it for boats.
Does that sound like a stable genius? Oh my God. It reminds me of the old routine that the late, great George Carlin, the comedian, used to do. When he used to talk about, he used to imitate children in his parochial, his Catholic school class, elementary class, who would raise their hand and ask questions of the priest. Father, hey, Father, can God make a rock so big that even he can't lift? I mean, is that what we're left with now? This is the best Donald Trump has because he knows people at MIT or whatever he's trying to tell the American people. I mean, listen, I'm not going to use his rhetoric against him, but as J.B. Pritzker, the Ohio governor, the governor just said, maybe he's projecting about his own mental impairment. Is he better than he was in 2016 mentally, verbally, or is he worse? Is anybody better at that age from 76 to 80? You have people who watch this YouTube, watch me on this Legal AF YouTube channel. They have aging parents and other loved ones in place. Are any of your loved ones who are in the late 70s and early 80s better today than they were 4 years ago in any way, shape, and form? Mentally, physically, or otherwise? Or not? And that's what we're watching. I'm fine with Donald Trump aging in place. I just don't want that aging in place to be the White House. So we're going to continue to follow it all. Great news. You're here. Congratulations. And thank you. This is the new Legal AF YouTube channel. I'm still on the Midas Touch Network. We're not going anywhere. The podcast, Legal AF, is on the Midas Touch Network. This channel is in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. It's in our name, Legal AF MTN for Midas Touch Network. But I'll be curating at the intersection of law and politics right here on this channel, the best stories, law, politics, bringing on other commentators from within the Midas universe. It's sort of like the Marvel universe. We'll get all the superheroes over here, many of them without capes, but they should have them. And some new voices and a brand new show about the United States Supreme Court we'll do weekly called Unprecedented, where I'll have a revolving door of commentators that you know and some you don't know and some judges that you've come to respect to talk to us about the United States Supreme Court on a weekly basis. Unprecedented, only here on this Legal AF YouTube channel. And all you have to do is free subscribe. Go out and hit that big oval that says subscribe right now. So until my next hot take and my next exclusive content for this Legal AF YouTube channel, this is Michael Popok and I'm reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.